I am very excited about All Out 2021. If you want to turn on hyperbole mode, which I do, I think it is going to be the best pay-per-view that All Elite Wrestling has ever put on. And from a business side of things, I think it's going to do more buys than any single pay-per-view that AEW has done. And this is good. You want the needle to go that way, and then everybody's happy. There is one last thing we have to do before we get to this extravaganza, and that's tap into our own brains and try and figure out what the hell is going to happen. Now, if you do watch my predictions on a monthly basis, you know that I suck at this, so let's try and turn the tide. My name is Simon Miller, and let's predict All Out 2021. We will start with the buy-in match, which is essentially the Best Friends and the Jurassic Express taking on the Hardy family office, and this one is just gonna be a rollicking good time. They've been having fun on TV. You've got Orange Cassidy, you've got Matt Hardy, who's gonna start doing his delete stuff. You've got Jungle Boy, you've got Luchasaurus. I don't understand why I'm just labeling off or ranting off or whatever you want to say, listing every single person in the match. I just think they're all super duper talented, and I just want them to do well. I think given that it is on the pre-show as well, you should absolutely have the Best Friends and Jurassic Express win, so the fans are all happy, like, oh, I'm having such a good time. And fair play and thank you very much for Tony Khan, who in a recent interview said, I don't really know why we have kind of like crapped all over pre-show matches these days and decided they're not important. I want to change that. It's nothing to do with you, Mr. Khan. It's all to do with WWE, especially when they had that Survivor Series sort of results thing, and they didn't even count the pre-show match when it came to the final tallies. Either still, these are some of the most talented dudes that AEW has. Let's hope the good guys win. And if you want to do some shenanigans, you can, because again, it's the very first thing everybody's going to see. We also have the Women's Casino Battle Royal, and I am really excited about this one as well, because AEW had this awesome track record of doing these matches and then halfway through going and having a surprise person walk out. And do you know who I want to see in All Elite Wrestling and who I want to see in AEW this Sunday night? The former Ruby Riott, now known as Ruby Soho, and hell man, let's not muck around, she should win the damn thing. And the reason for that is because she's really good. If you only know her from her WWE run, you don't know the half of what she's capable of. She was like on fire when it comes to the indie scene. And what a way to introduce her to a new audience and say, oh, by the way, this isn't the person you remember. This is a really good professional wrestler. Watch her go. Now, I totally understand that may affect plans that AEW also has, but that's all right, because there's an awesome plan B, and her name is Thunder Rosa. Put your hand up if you are waiting for Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa to have another round two. Of course you are. The hand stays up. So you can just do that. Now, however, the murmurings are that AEW is going to wait till 2022 before you do that. So good. Bring in Ruby Riott, Ruby Soho, whatever you want to call her. Let her have an awesome program with Britt Baker. Britt Baker can win that. It doesn't matter, because she's going to insert herself into that women's division and be absolutely top. Also, there could be some other surprises here. I think it's going to be damn good. But again, I'm going with the Rubes, or I'm going with the Thunder. And then two men are going to try and kill each other, because thanks to the Forbidden Door, look at it go absolutely crazy, we have Jon Moxley versus New Japan's Kojima. And I know he's kind of the last generation, but just spend today typing in Kojima New Japan onto YouTube, and look at some of the crazy things this man has done. Or hell, just go and watch what he did with Joe Doring in Impact. He does not go lightly. And we know that's true for Jon Moxley as well, so this one is just going to be absolute madness. And while you would assume that Jon Moxley is going to win, when we do get to the Forbidden Door and who's getting the victories and who's getting the losses, All Elite Wrestling talent hasn't actually been that defeated, which is why I kind of had a funny suspicion that this may be the night when that changes. And the reason for that is twofold. One, I don't think Jon Moxley is going to care about losing to Kojima, because he obviously holds him in high esteem. But also, two, if you do have Kojima beat Jon Moxley, maybe then you could build some kind of AEW versus New Japan mini feud where Jon Moxley tries to get back on top, but New Japan guys keep whooping his ass. I don't think that's going to affect Mr. Moxley. He is so over right now. He could do whatever the hell he wanted and he would be fine. I mean, that did happen in WWE when someone took an injection or whatever it was and stuck it up his ass. We still loved him, but we shall be the true winners in this, because I tell you, if you're into violent, brutal wrestling, this is absolutely going to rock. This is one of my crazy picks too. I'm going for Kojima. Now look, I'm going to be totally wrong. Of course Jon Moxley's going to win, but that's no fun. If you want to take fun of me, you can do it in the comments. We then get to a match which is actually far more intriguing than I thought it was going to be, given what happened on Dynamite, because it is Paul White versus QT Marshall, or essentially QT Marshall, the Factory, and the Gun Club all going against the Giant. Now, I do like the fact we've all jumped onto this bandwagon where we're going, well, Billy Gunn only turned on the former Big Show because the Big Show used to turn on everybody, so they were doing it first. And if All Elite Wrestling does actually tie that into the storyline, I am going to jump around and do backflips like an out-of-control seal, because that will be the most insider narrative ever. And being a geek and being a nerd, obviously I'm going to love it. But the only way I can possibly fathom that we have done this, aside from the explanation that Billy Gunn and his friends and family will eventually give, is that Paul White is going to lose. And much like when he's in a Royal Rumble and the commentators go, well, he's 7'9". How the hell are we going to get him over the top rope? And then everybody does it. Maybe in this, everybody is just going to beat him up and then QT Marshall's going to pin him. I don't mind that. I think it's a little bit crazy. And of course you have the flip side where he could just swat everybody away because he is so big. I just think it would wind people up. That's right, I'm being that guy. For some reason, QT Marshall is just like this heat-seeking missile that people get really, really mad at. So I would love to hear his promo and see his face after he did indeed, in complete unfair ways, defeat Paul White. So here's another stupid pick of mine. I'm going for QT Marshall. I just really like him. We then get to our first proper stipulation of the evening, because it is Chris Jericho who is putting his damn wrestling career on the line, taking on Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Given the promos they cut on Dynamite this week, man, plug me in, baby, because I am ready for this. But the only problem we do have, as we've said time and time again when it comes to this kind of stipulation, is that deep down on our Tootsie Toes, no one actually believes that a wrestler is going to retire when we have a retire stipulation. I don't know, that's just where we've got to in this crazy thing we called sports entertainment. But I do have that seed of doubt. Given the Chris Jericho promo and the MJF promo from a few days ago, there was just this tiny little piece of me that's like, well, I'm pretty sure he's not going to retire. Would I bet on it? No. If somebody put my gun to my head, would I be confident? No. And that's all you need. So now if they can construct this amazing match and there's loads of near falls, like, oh, I thought Chris Jericho was done, it is going to be a hoot. And MJF can lose at this point because he can easily come out and Dynamite and say, I don't give a crap that I did get defeated. Look at my t-shirt, it still says MJF 3, Chris Jericho 1. And look, it's Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho has got to that stage where, like John Moxley, he can do whatever the hell he wants, and he wants to be a good guy, he'll be cheered, and he wants to be a bad guy, he'll be booed. So maybe he can cheat here. Maybe he can get Floyd the baseball bat, twonk it right onto Maxwell's head, and pin him. Are you going to be mad about that? No. Actually, some of you will be. You always are, but don't worry about it. Am I going to be mad about that? No. I will have a good time, and I have just enjoyed the build-up to this, especially because it's got to be the final clash between them. I am ready. And then it's more destruction, because we have Miro versus Eddie Kingston for the TNT title. I told you All Out was good. You'll find me a match you're not looking forward to in some little way. And while I am very excited about these two colliding, because I think they're absolutely going to go at it, it doesn't really feel like this is the time to take the TNT title off Miro, because the build has kind of come in fits and spurts. Like usually you can just smell it in the air when it's time to remove a belt from someone and give it to Eddie Kingston. And if you were going to do that, I would have Miro win here, I would build to their big New York show in September, which is a homecoming for Mr. Kingston, and I'd have him win the TNT Championship there, maybe after losing to Miro here. That way too, you're giving it plenty of time, you're bigging it up, you're going to get the fans invested like me, so on this night, they can just punch each other in the face really, really hard. And because Eddie Kingston is kind of bigger than Miro's recent opponents, maybe even Miro can be like, oh my gosh, I'm a little bit scared, I'm a little bit worried. I haven't been under this much stress in a long ass time. Also, Miro is basically the worst of all the bad guys, like a flipping James Bond villain. So if he wants to have underhanded tactics, he absolutely can. But I tell you, this is going to be an absolute brawl. But I don't bet against Miro, I don't bet against the Redeemer, because he's my favorite person. Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander are also going to get it for the AEW Women's title. Sadly, I think these are one of these matches where I would put my life on the line. Not true, I take it back if anyone's listening. I would never put my life on my line. I'm not crazy. Oh my gosh, what have I done? Obviously, I'm backing DMD. And the only reason for that is because it would be crazy to take the belt off her at the moment, because it doesn't make any sense. So what we have to ensure we do here is that Chris Statlander has a star-making performance, because she is really, really good. She just needs more spotlight shone on her. What a great way to do it than All Out. I still have absolutely no idea whether she is still an alien or if I think she used to be an alien, now she's back to being a human. But if she does want to be an extraterrestrial, ironically, just buy in as much as you can. If you can make me think that you are from another planet, I will just go, okay. I mean, when that stupid thing hatched out of an egg at Survivor Series, the gobbledygooker, even then I was willing to go, all right, a turkey man is just the thing. So Allin I'm all good with. Statlander is also one of these wrestlers that if you do watch her week in, week out, she just gets better and better and better, which was basically the Britt Baker story throughout 2020. So I think they're absolutely going to smash it. But Rebel will be there and Jamie Hayter will be there and they'll probably go, oh, referee, look over here. And Britt will, I don't know, somehow apply the lockjaw when no one's looking and get the win. Point is, she's going to retain her title. We then move into our big three matches of the evening, and as of right now, nobody knows what the hell is going to main event. Well, I am going to predict that Kenny Omega versus Christian is going to be the last match, because I have a bit of a surprise. So right here, let's go inside the steel cage. And as we are doing predictions, let's go big. Let's go way over the top. I think this could very well be one of the best steel cage matches we ever see in our life. Do you remember the last time the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers fought? It was just a spectacle like you had never seen before. Well, now we're doing it again. We have all this cool story stuff, as we saw on Dynamite, and we're putting themselves in the steel so other people in the Elite can't run in. You just know they're going to do some absolutely crazy, death-defying stuff. I am both exceptionally excited about this and nervous. Because they don't care. They just don't care. And also the Young Bucks of heels have been absolutely tremendous, and the Lucha Brothers are just, like I say, I don't know how they do the things that they do. I suppose you could change the championships here if you really wanted. I don't know. They are in a steel cage. The Young Bucks could be like, well, we didn't have any of our friends. You know what, screw it. We arrived here now. My brain has just told me I am going for the Lucha Brothers. But once more, when it is all said and done, you won't even know who the champions are. You'll just be doing this, going, man, that's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. What a great angle this whole thing has been too. Like, seriously, everything they did achieve on Wednesday night on Dynamite, it's all built to this. It has been absolutely fabulous. Given what I said a second ago too, it means now we do talk about CM Punk versus Darby Allin, and honestly, who gives a flub? They can get in the ring and just stare at each other for I care. I am just going to be so pumped to not only see CM Punk making his return to the squared circle after 7 years away, but I am going to be so happy for Darby Allin for just following this crazy rise that he's been on and now being CM Punk's first opponent back. I mean, that is a trivia question for the rest of your life. I do think it's going to rock though, because we all seem to have forgotten that CM Punk was a really good wrestler who completely understood storytelling. There are some crackpots on the internet right now going, well, I bet he's rubbish now because he's 42 years old. Are you kidding me? He's got the experience, he's got the know-how. He rarely ever let us down in big match situations. You could say this is the biggest match of his entire career. He is going to absolutely kick its ass, and so is Darby Allin, because essentially, he's on a roll as well. Like I say, when's the last time you saw a bad Darby Allin match? Doesn't exist. This is another one where they're going to go absolutely ballistic as well. I mean, you just know CM Punk's going to take that crazy dive that Darby Allin does, and I really am torn when it comes to the finish. Because 99% of my being is like, you have to have CM Punk win. He has to come back and be the returning hero and go, oh my gosh, you've still got it, and do that ridiculous chant. But if you did have Darby get the victory, boy howdy, you sticking a rocket ship up his ass. Ultimately though, no matter what you do, Darby is going to come out a bigger star than he was simply because of who he's facing. That does actually happen sometimes in professional wrestling. This is one of those matches, so let CM Punk hit the GTS, then put Sting in there, they can all hug, hold their hands up like, oh man, I love being here in Chicago. We'll all cry because it will just be an emotional roller coaster. Honestly, this could be the highlight of the damn year, and we've already had a lot of highlights, and then we may get an even better highlight straight after. Because I am, of course, talking about the main event between Kenny Omega and Christian Cage for the AEW World title, and take everything they did on Rampage recently, times it by 2. Remember, that was a TV show, this is a pay-per-view, so they don't have to worry about commercial breaks. They are gonna slay it. Now, I don't think there's any way that Christian Cage can actually win this, hence why we gave him the Impact World Championship. But all I need from this is a few near falls. I go, oh my god, blah, blah, and it tricks my brain. But seriously, when it comes to this match, I have decided there's only one thing that's going to happen, and it's after Kenny Omega has hit the one-wing angel, maybe the Good Brothers have helped him, or Don Callis has done something stupid, and we're like, oh, Christian, you came so close, I can't believe it. And then some kind of music is going to play. It's either going to be Ride of the Valkyries, or it's going to be the final countdown. If you know, you don't know, do not worry about it. And Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, or whatever the hell we're going to call him, will make his debut in AEW. That's how All Out will go off air, with you, the fan, and me, the fan, saying, wait a minute, are we about to do Kenny Omega versus Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson? And the answer, quite ironically, will be yes. And do you know how good that will be? Do you know how many goosebumps you're going to get deep down inside of your tum-tum? You are going to feel so warm and fuzzy, and this is exactly what we should do. We don't need to wait around. We don't need to stand on ceremony here, Mr. Wayne. If Daniel Bryan is coming into AEW and he's going to have all this novelty of, well, he's not a WWE superstar anymore, put him in a world title match against Kenny Omega. And Daniel Bryan doesn't have to win. He's Daniel Bryan. He ties into the whole Chris Jericho and John Moxley thingamabob that we've already talked about. Look how excited I'm getting just thinking about it. But don't do what some people do. If it doesn't happen, and Daniel Bryan is going to debut at a different time, don't go, oh man, that's the worst thing ever, I hate AEW, it's crap. No, we set our own expectations, and we also have to deal with it if it doesn't work. But I think it is, because I am a positive Pete, and because I've ranted and raving here, Kenny Omega will win, Daniel Bryan will debut, the credits will roll, and I especially am just going to feel like, man, I love professional wrestling. Even when stuff doesn't like this happen, I still love professional wrestling. Now, please do go down in the comments below and 1, let me know what you think about my predictions. A lot of them were really stupid, so you should tell me. And 2, you got to let me know your predictions so we can see who the smartest person in the world is. Then please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com where you can keep up to date with all the All Out news and what may be happening, what may not be happening. Make sure you come say hello on social media and make sure you watch all the ups and downs so you know everything going on in professional wrestling. My name is Simon for What Culture. Make sure you enjoy All Out, because honestly, I think it's going to be an event that we're going to remember for a long ass time, and I will see you soon.